Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Pascarella. We're here at Hatters TV. What we've done the last 2 or 3 years is to sit down and talk to a number of our organizations and community members and faculty and administration regarding some of the pockets of excellence that we have here in the Danbury schools that, quite frankly, many individuals in the community do not know about it. In fact, some of our folks that work in the district do not know about it. So this is our attempt to reach out and to explain and talk about and brag a little bit, as I am today, regarding these young people, the programs that we have. Our high school here particularly has around 3,000 students, and we have a comprehensive high school, which in the comprehensiveness we talk about not just the core area, but we try to expand other areas of usually electives. And in this particular case, it's in video production. The group that you have here in front of the camera, and Gail on the end, raise your hand, Gail. She loves being in front of the camera. You can see how there she is, right? She's usually behind the camera. But she's the president of the club, the Video Production Club. And then Alex is the vice president who put the stage together. You'll talk about that. And Jennifer, right? Jennifer, what is your role?
I'm a secretary.
Secretary. And what year in school are you? What year are you?
I'm a junior.
Junior?
Junior.
Junior.
Oh, good. So we're in a year. Okay.
Yeah.
And Sarah?
I'm a member of the class.
Okay, a member of class. Which class?
Of the sophomore class, but I meant the video production class.
Oh, I thought you meant the class of the high school, the sophomore class. No. What'd you do this weekend, as a matter of fact?
I went to New York City with the acting class, and they did the living statues, which is where they dress up in costumes and bronze their entire bodies from head to toe, and they pretend to be statues, and I filmed it all with an iPad. Usually it would take like a huge crew to be able to do it, but all I had was the iPad, and I filmed everything on it and then edited on it, and then took 2 hours to render the file and send it to Mr. Miller. So I got to sit in the nice air-conditioned hotel for 2 hours while that happened. And so it was a really great experience.
And where did you send it to?
I sent it to, there was a program called Dropbox, and I put it into there, and Mr. Miller received it, and it was shown at CODA.
And what's CODA?
The art festival at our high school.
And that was Saturday? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I was there. And there must have been, I don't know, 300, 400 people, 500 people.
Wow.
And they kept walking through, and then they had you or your production on the TV and watching the students in New York City doing this. Yeah. So
and it was almost live. It was just like a 2-hour
Yeah.
difference.
you filmed it live in the statues, and they weren't moving, right?
Right.
But you call it a movie picture? I'm just teasing. So why don't you tell us about the club?
Well, the club started out 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. I think this is our second. Is this our second year? Second year. Mr. Miller approached me with the idea my sophomore year, which is last year, and we had started getting all this new equipment, and he told me that we were going to start recording all of the events that happen at the school, like the concerts and the sport events, and that's basically, we would learn how to edit all the videos and just learn how to use all the equipment.
So the club was put together with that focus. Did
Yeah.
you take a class with it?
There is a class that you can take during the school day, but it's also a club after school.
So you could do both. You
Yeah.
could be in a club, and you could be in the class while you're in the club as well, and then continue.
Everybody
with the
who's in the class is automatically in the club, and they're required to do, I believe it's 10 hours of videotaping during their semester in the class, and but everyone else that's in the club just does it for the fun of it.
And it is fun.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of skills. And you get to go to New York.
Yeah.
Right? And Alex, what's your role?
I am the vice president of Video Production Club. And what I usually focused on was, I was kind of the trainer of all the equipment. I taught new people who came in and taught them how to use all the equipment. And earlier this year, before we had a whole bunch of new equipment, it was very difficult to teach everybody because we started off with an analog system, which is basically using tapes and VCRs, which then you have to bring them all together and you have to edit them all together. And it's a big mess, and it takes a lot of time, to a digital system where we can literally live stream things and get things out almost instantly. So it's a lot easier to train people this year.
So you did a lot of training?
Yes.
On what kind of equipment?
Well, for one, there's the cameras. There's how to set them up, how to move them properly, how to take care of them, recording. Then there's the director's box, which is where you can choose which cameras are going on at what time. Just all the different positions. There's the runner, which isn't no longer a big deal because we have microphones, and the runner would basically go back and forth and make sure everybody was okay.
So you had analog to begin with. You had no stage to begin with.
Right.
So you put all that together, your
Right.
club in the last 2 years.
Yes.
Right? Oh, great. And what does the secretary do?
I mainly take attendance of everyone who comes to the club. When Mr. Miller has an idea for an event or wants to know some events that we can do, he'll talk to me about it, and then I'll either post it on the Facebook group, which everyone who's in the club is on, or I send email to people, so I'm in constant contact with Mr. Miller. And also I make sure everyone has their necessary hours, like they've recorded enough events so that they are actually active in the club and not just saying they're part of it.
So you have production meetings?
Yes.
We have meetings usually every Wednesday, right after school.
What do you discuss there? For example, whose idea was it to send, is it Sarah?
Sarah.
Sarah without H to Manhattan?
Miss Niz, so I'm sure she was in contact with Mr. Miller and they talked it over, and then they chose people to go.
And how many got to go?
It was just me from the video department, but there was 10, I think, other students from the acting class that went as well.
They spent the whole day there?
Yeah, we woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and didn't get back home until 2 o'clock the next morning.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. But it was really worthwhile, wasn't it?
Definitely, especially since I got to see my first Broadway play as well.
What'd you see?
Kinky Boots.
I don't think I know. That one I don't know. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of the things that we tried to do is to create a real interest. And did you find did you find out about this only through your class, or did people start talking about getting involved? And I'm just interested in how you found out about it. And part of this is try to get it out in terms of how can we, if those students have an interest, how can they get involved? That's the purpose of today. Anybody want to speak to that?
Well, Mr. Miller, I had him freshman year for a graphic arts teacher, and then I joined the graphic arts club after school, which is also run by Mr. Miller. And last year, he approached me with the idea to make this club because they were going to make a class out of it this year. And I talked to my friends about it, and some of them were interested, like Alex and Jen joined this year with us. And it just the way that the people who are in it now that have been in it for 2 years now, we've just got into it through our friends and stuff. And some of the other people heard over the announcements in the morning that we were having meetings and stuff, and anyone was welcome, and yeah.
And now you have shirts.
Yes.
Yours no insignia?
Mine has the video production club on the back.
Oh.
Yeah, same. These ones are specifically for the club. We designed them for people who are in their second year just so we could show when we're at the events and stuff that we've been in video production for that long. Jen, this is her first year, so she only has the thing on the back. Yeah, the logo on the back.
Oh, so you'll get your stripe when you...
Yeah, next year.
Second
It's kind of
year.
just like a ranking
How
thing.
many students are in the clubs? I'm sorry, I didn't ask.
I'd say maybe
It's like
10, 15.
somewhere between there. 13.
That's without including the class.
Yeah.
With the class.
With the class, it's
It varies. There were more
First
in the
semester.
classes first semester. So I'd say in total there's around 30 kids or something like that.
Yeah.
And we have 3,000 students in the high school.
But because we've started recording more and more of the events that go on at the school, there's a bunch of people that came up and asked us what this was for, and I think that some of them signed up for the class next year.
So you first of all, I don't know what events you're talking about. Second of all, how do I find out about it, and who do you broadcast to?
Do you want me to show
Somebody.
that? Okay, well, we do a bunch of different events. Like, for example, we do basically all the sports, so like baseball, softball, lacrosse, track.
Boys,
all of
girls,
the-
right?
Boys, girls.
Okay.
And we record that, and then we will show it on the TV in the cafeteria. We can do that. Or if it's, for example, a concert that we have in the auditorium, we will make a CD. Or graduation is coming up. We're also recording that and making a CD so people can buy it and save it as a memory. And you hear about our group through the announcements. We constantly announce that we're having meetings and such, so people are always welcome.
Okay, so if I'm not eating lunch in the cafeteria, how do I know you exist?
Well, we are announced through the speakers, and also we talk about it. Like the members of the group, we spread the word that we are a club. We'll wear the shirts and we'll talk about it. People ask us, "Oh, well, what's that on your shirt? Like,
You're
what's the
missing
logo
something.
mean?"
What are you missing? Who can tell me what we're missing?
Not really sure.
Oh yeah, you are. Come on. So
problem?
if you're a Comcast receiver,
Yeah.
right? Which a lot of Danbury folks are, you can then watch what we're talking about.
On the
Not
TV.
in the cafeteria, but
On the
actually on TV.
Yes.
So the graduation, the sports, other events,
Yeah, all the
Correct.
concerts
things
and
that
stuff.
maybe even the statute event, those things could be over TV. When would that be? When is it broadcast? Mr. Miller, who they were talking about.
So yes, just about the broadcasting schedule. It is on Wednesdays from midnight to midnight, the entire day Wednesday. It is also Fridays from noon to Saturdays at noon we broadcast. And a lot of what we broadcast is now being streamed online. In fact, one of our videos has over 1,000 views, and we have, I think it's 11,000 minutes viewed on YouTube, and we've just barely started doing this, which is equivalent to 8 full days.
So this graduation that's coming up,
Yes.
for example, we could have it on our Comcast.
Yes.
And then we could load it up on YouTube. And students or the people can
And
go.
people can see it if you have a
Yeah,
grandma in
and it's
Michigan
in-
that wants to see. they
You know,
can
it's
see
funny,
it as well.
there are school systems throughout the country because people live throughout the country. We have parents that live here, grandparents, and they'll go online, and their school, if there's a concert, will YouTube it back to them. That's what we're talking about then.
Yeah.
Do we do any of the elementary schools? Or
Yes.
just the high school?
Yes, we
do.
elementary, middle schools. We do, in fact, there's a concert tonight that we're doing. It's the high school. Last week we did the 6th grade concert and the 7th and 8th grade concerts as well. And as a service, the students actually record and make a DVD for the students that they can purchase and remember their concerts with. And it's a great experience for the students to be able to have the real world experience, to be able to make something that gets taken away.
One of the things that's great while you're here, but what we have a lens on is to try to make sure that you have experiences at the high school, not only learning how to read and write and to think critically, but to think about a profession or a career. And this is one that we felt that we were not doing a good job, and it's a tremendous profession. There's so many venues that come out of what you're doing. And Mr. Miller was in this industry. That's how we got to talking about it. So how do you see this growing into your industry that you're maybe telling about the industry you're in and how this may relate to that?
Well, the industry is changing very dynamically right now because what happened, it used to take a full truckload of people and a crew, and with technology, it's turning out that you can actually run this operation a lot quicker. If you look at professional studios, a lot of them are scaling back, and so what students are learning is how they can do everything either by themselves, where they have to run the cameras, run the switch all by themselves, and they can actually have their own show, or they are learning how to work together as a team, which still happens if you're going to go out and you're going to videotape, let's say, a football game, and you want to see UConn playing somebody. They need a huge army of people to run the cameras, to run the sound, to make it work. And so what the students are learning is they're learning how to work as a team for a production like a football game, but they're also learning how to work by themselves, like Sarah did her entire broadcast, editing, and uploading all by herself from a remote location. And so the students are gaining these skills. And then after they do that, they come in the classroom and they upload it either to online or they put it out on Comcast to be watched. But then they can start seeing. Sarah, your video that you made a few weeks ago, how many hits does it have on YouTube right now?
About 1,100.
What was the video on?
I interviewed a band. I got to go see them at a show, and I contacted them and set up an interview. And got
Sounds like a movie I once watched. You got to do the band. Is that where you got that idea? But you got to do that.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is, not only did she go and do this recording of a band, she had to contact the venue and get permission. She had to contact the band. She had to get permission. She had to get copyright permission. She had to sign waiver forms. And so she's learning how to do what it would take in the real world for this to happen. And so by doing this, she can now go and put on her resume that she's done all of this, not just made a video, but that she's gone through all the steps. She knows how to do it. And her video's online. She can share it. She can learn how to market it and show more people. Her video's only been up for about a month, and in that month's time, she has over 1,000 hits. And it's just great how students can not just make the video, but then they can learn about the other aspects that go along with it. Who's watching their video? How are they watching it? And she can control those, or not control, but she can view that data in YouTube and other platforms to see how she's performing and see if she can do what better.
So there's a technology part plus the interpersonal part.
Right.
Plus the organizational part. Okay. Well, it's pretty comprehensive. So I would think they would be in line for a job. Are you paying them a lot of money for this?
Oh yeah, they get
You get a ton of bucks,
pizza
right?
and water.
And apples.
And apples.
And apples.
No, there's a self-serving service for us. We would like the community to know about these things. Danbury, unlike some of the suburban districts, people tend to think of cities in certain patterns. I find that Danbury is very unique in a lot of ways. We're not what I call a typical city. We have very responsive students. We have involved parents. Our mobility rate's not that high. We have a community that supports education. Been here for a while, and we're trying to send that message out. You help us do that. You help us put this image out that this is Danbury area, a city, but we're a darn good place, and this is what we do, and this is what our students do. So that's really important to us. So that's helpful. I can tell you that when I go in the grocery stores, people recognize me, not because of my hairdo, by the way, but because of this. And it does get out. People want to know more about the school system. So you're telling the story. You're doing the narrative. By you going down there sends a message. Well, if you come to Danbury, look at the experiences that we can have. I don't have to go to this school, that district, or that, and to do it. And many times I'm finding when you come to Danbury, you have experiences you can't replicate in the smaller schools. That's a wonderful pocket of excellence that we have here. So you're helping us tell that story. That's how important this is to us. That's why we invested in this. We think it's critical for you to have, if you have an interest and a career path, critical for us that the community gets to say this is a special place. And then there are students out there that might want to become involved, and you could be that bridge to the involvement. So if you want to get involved next year, sign up for the class.
Yep.
If you don't sign up for the class, come to a club meeting.
We
You have an
meet
interest,
usually every
we welcome-
Wednesday.
You meet every Wednesday? And next year, I would think in the fall, you'll probably have some kind of meetings or telling kids about the functions, particularly the freshman class. All right, good. Is there anything else we didn't say that you'd like to say? Thank you to all of our 1, 2, 3. We have three folks recording. Then we have somebody behind
two in the
them,
back, yeah.
2 in the back studio doing the sound stuff. So, is there anything? We good?
One thing I want to mention is not only do they do this, but they also teach and mentor younger students. We've had
Right.
extended learning programs come here. On Saturday mornings, students actually woke up at 9 a.m., which I know is tough for high school students to do sometimes. And they came here and they helped elementary students in 3 hours write, produce, and edit, and make a video that they could show on TV. And we did
Oh,
show
that was
those
part
on
of the
TV.
enrichment program
Yep,
for the
the
elementary
enrichment
school.
program. And we've also worked with a Girl Scout program called Girls Rule through Moore Street Elementary, where they brought a bus of Girl Scouts here. And they had written and were planned to make these anti-bullying commercials. And Gail and Alex and a couple others volunteered, and they stayed here after school. And it was great to see them working with these elementary students. And these elementary students made this anti-bullying campaign. And they had the high school mentors standing kind of as a shadow behind them. And so they're not just learning, these career skills, but they're mentoring younger students, and they're helping younger students see that they can do this great stuff. And it was great to watch them, stand behind this 3rd or 4th grader who wasn't quite sure what to do. And I saw Gail just, hey, you can do this, and just helping out. And it's really great to see the things that they're doing, not just the video and the technical, but the actual community outreach of what the students are doing to help our school community. It's amazing to me.
It's amazing to me, too. So thank you very much, and have a great summer.